So I made the comment the Pharisees couldn't see or hear kind of what God was doing through Jesus because of their worldview. In other words, it was the lenses colored their perception of reality. Okay, so how do we get behind that and allow the worldview to change so that we can be in harmony with God more? And I think the first thing we have to do, and it's the chief of all virtues in my mind, and something I learned years ago when I was in seminary, that there's this thing called teachability. It's a word that has a red squiggly line underneath it if you try to type it. Nothing recognizes it, but I think it's a word. And teachability is maybe just another way of saying humility, but teachability is a posture toward understanding that we're not finished and that our knowledge isn't fully sufficient, and that there's always something that we can learn or add to our experience or our discernment or knowledge so that we can continue to grow. And where I came up with that view was just looking at a lot of people that oftentimes when you get to your 20s, you'll see a lot of college kids making huge life decisions. What religion am I going to believe? How am I going to rethink what my parents taught me? Whatever. But coming out of college, there's this unique phenomenon where people kind of just plateau and then just cruise through life. And they oftentimes don't really change a lot, not at deep character level or worldview level or even political level. I mean, they just kind of keep going. They just grow older, right? So if you want to keep growing throughout all of life, you have to have a posture that says, I'm going to be open to that throughout life. And if you do that, you can start as a -5 and someday you're a 0 and then someday you're a +5 and someday you're a +10. And I don't mean in terms of virtue or like self-righteousness. I just mean in terms of maturity, in terms of wisdom and maturity. And so teachability allows you to keep growing. And if you lack teachability, you just kind of stay where you're at. Now, the interesting thing is, the reason I think this is the chief of all the virtues is that most people would say love is the chief virtue or faith or some of those kinds of things. And what I'm seeing teachability as is what I would call a second order virtue. It's the thing above the other things that allows you to grow in the other things. So yes, love really is the highest, right? Or, and faith and those kinds of things. But I can become more loving, or I can stay maybe as anemic as I am in my love. So what allows me to grow that way is my humility or my receptivity or my teachability to understand that I'm a little bit more in love with myself than I am others, that I see others through my lens a little more than understanding them through their own unique set of experiences. And if I remain supple or humble or teachable, then I can grow in my maturity that way. And so I really believe in teachability. I think that's why, again, humility, all throughout Scripture it says God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. He exalts the humble. He lifts them up. All these different phrases. So humility or teachability is somehow the thing that allows us to grow. And then another way of saying it would be when Jesus came and said, I came to bring new wine, and I'm looking for new wineskins, not old wineskins. The difference between old wineskins and new wineskins is that ability to expand, change, grow, how supple it is. So I think if we want to learn to not be defined by our worldviews, but be able to kind of monkey within those and hopefully hold on to the good, let go of the bad, we just have to take an open-handed posture that says, there's a lot I'm blind to, so I need to be always open to seeing what it is that maybe I haven't seen before, or what others can teach me, or where I'm rigid. So that's the best I can do is just that kind of posture or position or stance to allow God to speak into your life and show you what you need to see, what you need to know with regard to being teachable.